Hello and welcome. This is George, aka Neck Over Million, and of course, it's going to be the last of my videos on the. Well, not the last, because I might do a follow up depending on what kind of comments I get. But yeah, on the whole subject of entertainment, of course, it's going to be focused on music, but there's also a lot of other things because, well, music is a large part of entertainment, and a lot of media does revolve around music in a sense or make use of music. So that is that. And if things look different, that's because, well, there was times when I would either record on a tablet or I would record on a phone. But this time around, I'm actually recording on a laptop. So it's going to look a little different, maybe sound different, hopefully not too many hiccups. And I really did work hard on this. I had written a lot of stuff here. This is even my notes. It's like first draft of the script, and this is the final draft. So yeah. Also, there will be edits here and there in the event of background noise and such. So if things seem inconsistent or there jump cuts, I do apologize. Now, with all that said, I'm going to get started with each page and such. Initially, I wouldn't do this video. It has become clear to me that this is a necessary means to finish this set of videos. I will start by talking again about Ted and Rick's podcast. At some point, they did talk about there being no modern equivalent of Bach or other past musicians. They then correct themselves, basically walking it back, in saying that maybe the modern Bach is just not heard. So there may be someone like Bach or similar. But why is that? That it's such a person is not heard? Well, some can go by what I previously said, marketing, backdoor deals, and what's allowed on the charts. Another factor I didn't speak enough of is popularity and public opinion. As I said in the previous video, I will include people I didn't mention in the acknowledgements. For example, Mary Spender. Mary Spender is one of these people. In a video titled YouTube Musicians Can't Play Live, she talks about people holding such an opinion. People believing that if you're releasing music on YouTube, then you're not a real musician, you're just editing and stuff like that, and blah blah blah. And Mary does speak of the art of video making, the challenges that's presented in a good video. The whole thing of giving a good presentation. And I know my presentation's a bit lackluster, but please bear with me. And of course, respect due to the unique challenges in video recording. And there is indeed such challenges, such as a wacky setup I have that's not seen, just so there isn't background noise, or as little background noise as possible. Along with the negative opinion against those who upload recordings and make videos, there's how much weight people place on popularity. Not just what's broadcast or is on a chart, there's also what is or is not said. Who people know and who is spoken of, and what is said. Many people will ignore and disregard media if they don't hear others speak of it. Just the same, there are those who will react negatively to media and related personalities if that's what they frequently hear of, the negative. As well as positive, Sometimes it is overhype or market saturation. Other times, it's whichever people are talking about the most. It's the strangeness of pop culture. According to Webster's dictionary, what's popular can be defined in a few ways. For example, it can be an opinion carried by the common person. It can also be something that appeals to the populace, or at least what's intended to be appealing. To explain how this relates, I will reference James Rolfe of Cinemassacre. Often known for his angry video game nerd act, James also talks about film and pop culture. What Happened to Saturday Morning Cartoons is one of James's videos. He talks about there being no modern Saturday morning cartoon block. He also talks about the social element of children talking about the cartoons everyone was watching at the time, when there was a Saturday morning block. He also talks about showing VHS and DVDs of these cartoons for his children. It seems identical to popular music. Just as there's the transition from jazz to rock to boy bands, there's also those who tell the younger of this music. Another video, is Avatar overrated? James talks about how media inspires other media. He also talks about the marketing and name recognition that went into Avatar. The first movie with the blue aliens. Which in turn gave people a higher expectation, which results in a negative perspective due to the video not meeting those expectations. Then there's Sunny V2 with the video How Nickelback Became the Most Hated Band Ever. That's a long video title. Almost like with Avatar, with some exceptions. Nickelback was often broadcast. Some grew tired of the constant feed of Nickelback music and hated it, as well as hating Nickelback themselves. Some jumped onto a growing bandwagon of hate, not wanting to be left out, and others grew to hate Nickelback simply because so many people spoke of them. So in other words, the haters continued talking, and those who hated hearing about Nickelback, well, they continued to hear it even from those who hated Nickelback, which in turn caused those people to hate on Nickelback. So that is an interesting thing to note. That's what makes popular culture weird. The popular opinion formed can be positive or negative, which can have an effect on whichever the opinion relates to. For something more modern, I will reference Fear of the virtual reality show. The virtual girl obsession is basically the video I'm going to focus on. Fia talks about the history of celebrity, the popularity of a mannequin, and online celebrity. Her presentation shows how the virtual and related tech can grow from niche and gimmicks to communities and media. Fia speaks both of the. Why do I keep missing my place? My apologies. Fia speaks both of the good and the bad. There's 2 points that I would like to go into. First is AI. To expand upon what I previously said, AI is advancing. AI is becoming popular. Although a talking point in fiction for decades, it's relatively recent that it becomes reality. From those who feel out of place in society, using AI more as alternative to relationships, to those who use AI for tools and the arts. People are also learning that there are limits to AI. However, popularity is inflating people's perception of AI. Even if one were to use AI for music, it will likely be locked into the Pythagoras formula. Basically just how a lot of people are when it comes to music, unfortunately. The second is the parasocial relationship. Just as there are those who use AI as like a relationship replacement, there are those who use celebrity, much akin to 900 numbers and video girls of old. Modern celebrities are fantasized into a one-sided relationship they are often unaware of. This also includes online personalities such as what I previously mentioned of VTubers. Many others speak of this, including T. Noir, Intellectual Media, Bennett DeSage, and Gaijin Goomba, which are, of course, people that I've said in my acknowledgments. As a side note, Intellectual Media also talk about another dark side of celebrity and such, which is like gossip columns and people making money off of your misfortune. So that's another thing that, unfortunately, musicians and other performers face. And even then, there are some online tabloid stuff that say negative stuff about VTubers as well, unfortunately, as well as other people who are active online, content creators. Back on script. Using information from these people, I learned that a fan base has layers. There are those who admire or respect, most of the time both. Then there are those who exhibit obsessive and overzealous behavior on the farthest end of, whatever scale you're using to measure these communities. Such people will often put people on pedestals, often holding to unrealistic standards, much akin to what happened to people like Britney Spears and Green Day. Failing to live up to the fantasy results in ridicule by the obsessive and overzealous. This can have a negative effect on everyone, media included. There's the effect on the performer's mental health. The community will have infighting and general aggravation both amongst themselves and towards other communities. And those outside of said communities will judge the community and media harshly due to this behavior. I will finish with a reference to a relatively modern video from Leanna Kay, titled "When Your Comfort Thing Isn't Comforting Anymore." And it's relative to what I said previously of the infighting within a community and aggravation. Those within may feel uncomfortable and leave a community. And of course, there's what I said of those outside who will use this to judge. This can affect any related media as well. This is a huge negative effect on music because music is related to most communities. Due to these negative elements, people will refuse to pay time, money, or attention to whatever the media is out there, music included. Interesting enough, Leanna does mention being able to find media to enjoy, which includes new games. This is important to mention because there's still new music being released, music that doesn't really follow along with the negative, or at least tries to avoid the negative. That's why I started my set of videos with talking about what exists rather than the problems within media. I've also created playlists so you can hopefully find some music to enjoy. And that would be the end of that script. As you may notice, I'm making a change when it comes to how I'm ending this video because some people may question, given how my past is, whether or not I should be one to be accepting any of this information from. Should I be critiqued? And here's the thing, yeah, there are certain people I've interacted with when I went by such names like Crimson Panther, Web Cheshire, and Laughing Furry. Although in those days there were a few people who referred to me as Laughing Fury. And you know what? Past is the past, people can change and stuff like that. And I do admit I still have to work on certain things better, given how, not just how I reacted to what people said of modern soundtracks, but also my own commentary when it came to the brief bit when I talked about ASMR. Something there when it comes to ASMR, I don't understand it. Doesn't mean I should really demonize it. So if you enjoy it, that's good on you. My apologies. Shouldn't feel ashamed for what you enjoy, just because I don't get it. Another thing is the whole matter of gossip and rumors and other such annoyances like that. I am not really a fan of rumor mills and stuff like that, and which is why I don't watch certain people as much as I used to. I admit I did at a point, but then I was like, no, this is toxic. So I'm trying to change for the better. Likewise, I am not going to allow rumors and other such nonsense on my channel. So do be advised that if it's not like some rant or whatever, especially with this set of videos, it's just me trying to make sense of things when it comes to media and the people. And yeah, I'm probably going to get some things wrong. So if you want to point out where I could be misinformed or other inaccuracies, go for it. I welcome conversation. With that said, though, there is also the subject of prejudice. I talked a little bit about it, but not too much, simply because there is the unfortunate fact that some people will derail the conversation. I hope we can have a day where we can actually talk properly about that, the problems of prejudice when it comes to media, and the restrictions upon media and the performer and the audience that such things occur. There's a lot more I could say, but honestly, I don't have any proper information to be given. What I said is what I said. If you have anything to add, go for it. Like I said, don't talk about rumors, gossip, people's past lives, and stuff like that. My channel is not about that. My set of videos is not about that, because if we're going to have a better future when it comes to media and such, we need to focus on the future. So with all that said, I am George the Rusty Cat, aka Neck Vermillion, and all those other names, and I thank you for watching. And I look forward to any positive conversations we could have about this.